Please join me in welcoming Burrell Ellis with applause as he comes to deliver the State of the County Address for 2012.
Thank you all. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That was a very warm and gracious introduction. Thank you, Kevin Greiner, for all that you do to support DeKalb County. And that was a wonderful video. It was my first time actually watching it. So I want to thank the DeKalb County Department of Communications and DCTV staff, Diamond Lewis, and all who put that together. Let's give them a round of applause for that. Yeah. To the DeKalb County Board of Commissioners, DeKalb County's judiciary and constitutional officers, to the DeKalb County delegation and other officials and dignitaries, to the executive cabinet and other senior executive, legislative, and judicial staff, to DeKalb's department heads, and to each and every one of our hardworking employees, to our business, civic, religious, educational, and community stakeholders, and most importantly, to the citizens of DeKalb County, good morning. It's a new day, a new year, a new beginning. And so I'd like to begin my address today by recognizing my partners in public service, the DeKalb County Board of Commissioners. We have several members here today. I see Commissioner Stan Watson seated before me. Stand up, Stan, so we can recognize you. Commissioner Kathy Gannon to my right. Commissioner Gannon, stand up. Commissioner Jeff Rader, I saw. Commissioner Rader, please stand up. Commissioner Lee May is here. Lee, where are you? Please stand up. Commissioner Lee May, thank you. Are there any other members of the Board of Commissioners who I've overlooked? Thank you all for your service to our citizens. Also, I have some very special guests, and I don't want to neglect them as well. We've recognized our elected officials, but I do want to thank particularly Congressman John Lewis from taking time out from your duties in Washington and being here. Thank you, Congressman Lewis. Thank you for all that you do and the sacrifices you made to serve the citizens of the state of Georgia. Marita Davis Johnson, representing her husband, Congressman Hank Johnson, is here. Marita, where are you? Please stand, be recognized. Marita's over here. Hank's in Washington in a committee meeting. We have with us today, she's not going to do my job unless she's doing her job, and that's our school superintendent, Dr. Cheryl Atkinson. So please, I want everybody to know who you are, Dr. Atkinson. Stand up and let us see you. A friend of mine came all the way from Virginia, Arnie Rice. And Arnie, where are you? You came so far. You told me you just came here for this meeting. So thank you, Arnie, for being here. And two very special guests. My wife with a law firm, a litigator. People think I'm the competitive one, but she's really the competitive one in the family. And she's a partner with Owen, Galit, Egan, Jones, and Sweeney. Philippa Ellis. Philippa, please stand and let us recognize you. And a very special guest, my mother, Roberta Ellis, is here all the way from Silver Spring, Maryland. So mother, please stand up. And of course, all of our elected officials, I thank you and appreciate, from our chairman of our delegation to so many of you that are here today. We thank you for your good hard work and your service and sacrifice to our citizens. Last year, as I stood before you, I shared the story of the old farmer's tree. You remember that story, don't you? Yeah, you do. The tree, you remember, was hollow and decaying, and it presented the farmer with an unpleasant dilemma. By the way, my wife wasn't here last year, and she says, well, there's going to be some people like me who don't remember the story. But I said, there'll be enough people who do. And the farmer's dilemma was this. Should he cut it down knowing that it would surely damage his farmhouse, or should he allow it to remain, leaving his family in constant danger? And the farmer sadly was plagued by inaction. And the purpose of the story, as you might recall, was that DeKalb County, like the old farmer, was facing its own budgetary hollow tree, and that only swift action on our part would prevent the tree from falling on our house. Well, the tree did fall, and the damage to our credit rating was felt throughout the land. But fortunately, that's not the whole story. Through hard work, decisive action, and collaborative effort, we were able to hoist the tree, repair the damage, restore our credit, and save the house, and today, the house stands strong. Now, I want you to know I'm optimistic about the future of DeKalb County. In the face of great economic adversity, the stakeholders of this county, elected officials, community leaders, business owners, and everyday citizens came together, rolled up our sleeves, developed solutions to our challenges, and scored victory. And as a result, we now have an even greater story to tell about how we've overcome, the innovative policies we've implemented, and our vital role in moving the Atlanta region forward. My friends, I'm humbled, honored, and I'm overjoyed to share this progress with you and to report to you that today, the House stands strong and the state of DeKalb County is good. And let me tell you why. More than anything else, listening to you, the citizens of DeKalb County, has been the hallmark of this administration. Since taking office, I've held more than 40 town hall meetings. We've scheduled 11 additional meetings through March of this year with more to come so that I can continue listening to your concerns and hearing your priorities. And more than anything else, you've requested quality services that add value to your quality of life. And I'm happy to report to you that we have delivered just that. When this administration took office, the national and local metrics were solidly against us. The capital markets were frozen. Residential real estate values were in a free fall. Consumer confidence was at an all-time low. And in spite of all of this, we inherited a county government that was spending more than it was bringing in and depleting its reserves. And as a result, our debt rating was downgraded and subsequently withdrawn. And so we had to act fast. We were headed to the market to undertake the first in a series of major borrowings in order to upgrade our aging water and sewer system, but without a solid rating, we're unlikely to be able to sell our bonds. Today, I'm proud to stand with several people in this room and say, as a result of a concerted effort, the financial position for DeKalb County is stable and our fiscal outlook is good. From those members of the Board of Commissioners who took the bold and courageous action to raise the county's millage rate because it was necessary in order to maintain revenues due to the severe decline in the housing market, to the members of the DeKalb Chamber who devoted countless hours in facilitating budget discussions, to the Commission's presiding officer, Larry Johnson, who joined me and others in a trip to Wall Street for face-to-face meetings at the rating agencies, to our own finance staff and team of advisors, let me say thank you for getting the job done. These actions showed the region, the state, and the nation that DeKalb County is serious when it comes to taking requisite action that lays the foundation for future growth. And there's more good news. After getting our ratings restored and receiving high marks for our solid operations from both Standard & Poor's and Moody's, we sold our bonds in record time. In fact, they were oversubscribed within 2 hours. Now, that's great news. That's great news for our tax-paying citizens, but that's not even the whole story. You see, for the first time in the history of our county, the team of investment banking firms that sold our bonds was led by a female and minority-owned firm, Siebert Branford Shank. And we're joined today by the president and CEO, Suzanne Shank, and their managing director, Sean Wordlow. Suzanne and Sean, where are you? stand and let us see you and recognize you for your good work. I want you all to know that because of their efforts, we are borrowing at a rate that would be considered exceptional under any circumstances, but which is extraordinary given the revocation of our ratings earlier in the year, and that's good news. Now, it's in this spirit of unity and inclusiveness that we're reaching our potential. Our unity is a reflection of our values. We value partnership between the private and the public sectors, partnerships with the faith-based community, community-based organizations, and between governments. It's through partnership, people working together, that DeKalb County has achieved its victories. In the midst of the reality of these economic times, and it is in unity, ONE DeKalb, that we are reaching the full potential that is available to us through our diverse population, our prime location, and rich resources. And this is why I say to all of us today, ONE DeKalb is not merely a slogan. ONE DeKalb is a statement. It's a resource. It's a best practice for building partnerships and tapping into the best talent to help solve problems that threaten our quality of life. It is, in fact, our way of doing business. As ONE DeKalb, we're working with the federal and state governments to bring streetscape improvements to major corridors throughout the county, including Memorial Drive, Candler Road, and Buford Highway. These upgrades are the foundation for economic growth that will improve property values, create jobs, and promote hubs of opportunity for surrounding areas. All told, our administration was awarded more than $60 million in federal and state transportation funding. That means that DeKalb County taxpayers are getting their fair share of resources. And that's great news. But that's not the whole story. That's right, you can applaud that. You see, as ONE Green DeKalb, we are working with both the federal government and the private sector to be more sustainable, to be, in fact, the greenest urban county, Commissioner Gannon, in America. That's our green commissioner, Kathy Gannon. In October, we broke ground on our latest green initiative, a renewable energy facility that will convert landfill gas into fuel for videos. You saw it on the video. This is the result of an $8 million federal grant and a partnership between DeKalb County and ESG, a private sector firm which is building a facility which is scheduled to open this spring. Initially, we'll utilize this fuel for more than 306 sanitation vehicles, and eventually we're going to sell it to our external customers. And as a result, DeKalb County is forecasting fuel savings of $3 million during the next 8 years. We're converting trash to gas and gas to cash. That's more great news, but again, that's not the whole story. We continue to set the standard regionally and nationally for green programs. When this project is completed, DeKalb County will have the capacity to process more landfill gas than any other county in Georgia and be home to the first and only facility of its kind in the Southeast. Our use of clean, green, Caesar Mitchell, and safe technology will generate revenue and enhance our quality of life for decades to come. That's right. I'll pay you for that slogan later on, okay? That's our president of our city council. Our county's largely residential. The impact of the Great Recession and financial crisis of 2008 hit us like a truck traveling at 100 miles per hour. And we know all too well the effect of that economic downturn and the effect it has had on our communities, leaving in its wake thousands of vacant homes across the county. Throughout the nation, local governments have seen tax revenues plunge, but few have been impacted to the level that our county has suffered. We lost 21% of our tax digest in the past 36 months and estimate another 5% loss during the next year. To respond to this titanic shift, we developed ONE DeKalb Lives, a housing initiative to stabilize communities hardest hit by the foreclosure crisis. ONE DeKalb Lives allows our community heroes to access the most important asset that most Americans will ever own, a home. I'm speaking of those who risk their lives for us, our firefighters and police officers, those who model the future for us, Dr. Atkinson, our teachers, those who make our communities better, citizens who do extraordinary things without hope or promise of great reward other than the satisfaction of a job well done. And by the way, while we're speaking of extraordinary things, I'd like to recognize one of our own community heroes who took the initiative to bring back a piece of the World Trade Center towers that were destroyed in the 9/11 attacks. This precious piece of metal is a fitting memorial which has been permanently installed as a monument at the entrance of our public safety headquarters, as you saw in the video, and which was unveiled during our 9/11 commemoration in September. DeKalb fighter Doug Harms is with us this morning, and I'd like for him to stand and be recognized. Doug, please stand. In fact, don't sit, Doug. I'd like all of our first responders who've joined us today to stand and allow us to thank you. And this goes back to why ONE DeKalb is so very important. Through ONE DeKalb Lives, we're making foreclosed homes in quality neighborhoods available for purchase by these first responders and teachers at a 50% discount. This is the result of a partnership between the private sector and the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development and our county. And we're joined today by Bernadette Hooker, a DeKalb County police officer who recently purchased one of these homes. Officer Hooker, I'd like you to stand and let us to say thank you. She bought that home in my neighborhood because, as I recall, you wanted a place for you and your son to call home. God bless you. And that's what we're doing. Through ONE DeKalb Lives, we're restoring neighborhoods and building hope. And that's more good news. But again, that's not the whole story. To complement ONE DeKalb Lives, we've also rolled out ONE DeKalb Works. ONE DeKalb Works is our job stimulus program. As we complete $1.35 billion in water and sewer upgrades over the next 8 years, we'll create thousands of jobs for DeKalb County citizens and work for local small businesses. A University of Georgia study said that ONE DeKalb Works will create almost 4,700 jobs by 2015 and another average of 3,341 jobs annually during a 5-year period starting in 2013. Our local partners in this initiative, this innovative program, are the Urban League of Greater Atlanta, Georgia Piedmont Technical College, Goodwill Industries of North Georgia, and one of our key labor partners, the North Georgia Building and Construction Trades Council. Now, I want you to know, I've always believed that the labor movement plays a key role in jobs creation. And that role is to be afforded the fairness that we would extend to any partner on whom we depend upon for success. There's dignity in work, hard work, that fills us with pride and creates better lives for families. And I'm proud of the work that we've done with labor to drive job creation in our county. And so we're joined today by several of these partners. Keith Thomas, the business manager of the Atlanta and North Georgia Build Trades Union. Keith, are you here? Please stand. Thank you, Keith. Nancy Flake Johnson, President and CEO of the Urban League of Greater Atlanta. Nancy, thank you. The chairwoman of the board of the Urban League of Greater Atlanta, Noni Ellis in Southall. Noni, please stand. And Larry Teams, the acting president of Georgia Piedmont Technical College. Larry, are you here? Listen. Thank you, Larry. I see you. Our national partner in ONE DeKalb Votes, the National Urban League, is a leading advocate for economic empowerment in underserved communities and will be providing auditing services to ensure that DeKalb County citizens are being trained and hired for these private sector jobs, and that local small businesses are being utilized to perform the work. And that's even greater news. But again, it's not the whole story. To assist people in getting in the employment pipeline, we recently cut the ribbon on our first mobile career resource center. This jobs bus provides job search technology and will travel throughout the county, bringing resources directly to our citizens, and that's good news. DeKalb County is home to more than 300 neighborhoods and civic organizations. These communities and organizations represent the county's diversity. Civic engagement empowers residents to do for themselves and not rely solely on government. Through our civic engagement initiative, ONE DeKalb Volunteers, volunteerism has risen to an all-time high. And let me share with you why that's important. ONE DeKalb Volunteers add to our bottom line. Since 2009, citizens from every corner of the county have contributed more than 500,000 hours of volunteer service, equaling a savings of $11 million. Last month, Commissioner Gannon and I co-hosted the county's first ever Code Compliance Neighborhood Summit. And later this month, we'll launch a volunteer code compliance corps where citizens will receive training to assist with detecting and reporting code violations. In DeKalb County, we're providing our citizens with the tools and resources to address their problems, and in turn, they're working to create solutions with their county government. Now, next summer, as you've already heard and will continue to hear, we're going to vote on a regional transportation referendum to improve the quality of life and economic vitality of the metropolitan area over the next decade. This is both necessary and historic. Through partnership, regional give, take, and sacrifice, 21 elected officials unanimously came up with a regional list of transportation projects. Friends, that's 21 elected officials from 10 diverse counties working collaboratively. Now, if you all don't applaud for that, I can't get an applause. DeKalb County has always been at the forefront of vision and leadership in metropolitan Atlanta. DeKalb citizens created the most progressive and modern county government in Georgia, supported the MARTA Penny, backed Grady Hospital, and should approve this referendum now. And let me tell you why. We have much to gain, mostly in transit improvements as a county. In fact, approximately $1.3 billion in transportation projects will benefit DeKalb County out of the $6.14 billion, while only $800 million in sales taxes is going to be raised in the county. Now, that's a great return on our investment, and it's an appropriate return as well, given DeKalb County's 40-year support of the MARTA tax, along with our neighbors in Atlanta and Fulton County. But we also know that our citizens don't live in isolation. They live in a metropolitan region, and they're dependent on transportation improvements throughout that region in order to get to and from work in the places they have to go. And we know that as these transportation projects are built, more jobs will be created. In rebuilding our infrastructure, we are, in fact, jump-starting our economy. This is a regional stimulus plan, and that's why it's so important that we pass this transportation referendum. That's why it's so important to both our present and our future. We have more than 700,000 residents in this county, making us the third largest county in the state. We've got to do a better job of getting our citizens registered and out to vote. Not only do we have much at stake in the transportation referendum in July, but we've also got to re-elect our president in November, and you can applaud that. I got time. There was once a saying, as goes DeKalb, so goes Georgia. Let's make that mean something again. Let's be an example for the region and the state as we move forward on the big issue of our time, transportation. And in line with our ONE DeKalb Votes initiative, I plan to visit every corner in this county to discuss the importance of voting and registering new voters. Because as goes DeKalb, so goes Georgia. And there's so much more good news to share. Since 2009, we've improved 8 parks and recreation facilities. We've built 2 new recreation centers. We've opened 7 new libraries with 1 more on the way. And in an innovative public-private partnership, we're building a new YMCA at Waywalker Park. This year, we're going to begin construction on 2 new centers for our seniors, 2 new police precincts, and a soapbox derby track for our youth. You all know I like that. We're intergenerational, innovative, and building a foundation for future generations of DeKalb Countyans. We're making the necessary investments and difficult decisions that our times require under the most adverse economic circumstances. And as a result, through ONE DeKalb Works, we're rebuilding our infrastructure and creating jobs. Through ONE DeKalb Lives, we're restoring neighborhoods and building hope. Through ONE Green DeKalb, we're being sustainable and responsible. And through ONE DeKalb Volunteers, we're tapping into our most vital resource, our people. And through ONE DeKalb Votes, we're continuing our tradition of regional and state leadership. We're creating opportunities while being inclusive in a united spirit, and that's what ONE DeKalb is really all about. The House stands strong because ONE DeKalb represents the heart and soul of the people of DeKalb County. But our work is not finished. As I speak to you this morning about living together and working from common aspirations, there are some who would exploit our rich diversity in an effort to divide our county. And I want to be clear on where I stand regarding these so-called cityhood efforts. It is a fundamental right for our citizens to choose more government and to pay a premium for heightened levels of service, but it is wrong to impact others who have no voice. Under current law, cityhood not only drives up the cost to those citizens who embrace this option, but it also places an undue tax burden on those who are drawn outside of arbitrarily created boundaries and have no say in the process. Under the current law, there is an even greater cost to us in terms of social isolation, class, and ethnic stratification. And simply put, we need better policy. So today I'm asking Chairman Mosby and the entire DeKalb County Legislative Delegation to work with me, the former chair of the delegation and now County Commissioner Stan Watson, and our entire Board of Commissioners and the Association County Commissioners of Georgia to develop new and fairer laws regarding the creation of cities. We need laws that prevent the cherry picking of the choicest residential and commercial areas while disenfranchising residents in the remainder of the county. We need laws which respect the cost of services to our citizens in both cities and counties, and which take into consideration the unique roles of each. I want to work with our state government in developing good, sound public policy that will ensure that our children will inherit the ONE DeKalb we envision and the beloved community, Congressman Lewis, that Dr. King dreamed of. It was President Abraham Lincoln who said, "A house divided against itself cannot stand." But he then expressed optimism that the house, our nation, would stand. And with that same optimism, with that same resolve and unity and spirit, let us commit to keep our house, DeKalb County, standing strong by making sound investments to create jobs, improve our quality of life, and lay the foundation for future growth. Let us commit to keep our house, DeKalb County, standing strong through innovative efficiencies and smart government practices. And let us not be distracted by schemes of divisiveness and narrow-mindedness that fuel personal agendas, but destroy the very foundation upon which the house stands. Thank you, Coach Williams. I'd like to leave you today with the words of a great American statesman, the late Hubert Humphrey. The moral test of government, he said, is how that government treats those who are in the dawn of life, the children, those who are in the twilight of life, the elderly, and those who are in the shadows of life, the sick, the needy, and the handicapped. When we build quality recreation centers and libraries for our children, we pass the moral test. When we construct centers of hope for our seniors who built this great county, we pass the moral test. When we support Grady Hospital and charitable institutions that could be conveniently cut from our budget, we're passing the moral test. When we fairly compensate our hardworking public employees and thank them for their labors, we pass the moral test. As we are inclusive, create jobs, and restore our neighborhoods, we pass the moral test. When we engage in innovative, efficient, and sustainable practices, we pass that moral test. When we are truthful with the people we serve, helping them to understand with honesty and humility the issues of the day and the choices we must make, we are passing the moral test. And as we listen to the people and make their priorities the priority of their government, we are passing the moral test. Ladies and gentlemen, despite adversities, hardships, and challenges, we, the people of DeKalb County, are overcomers. We are listening, responding to the needs of our citizens, and answering the highest calling of government, the moral test. And that is why, more than anything else, the House stands strong and the state of DeKalb County is good. May God continue to bless DeKalb County, the state of Georgia, the United States of America. Thank you all. God bless you.